Sorry, this is a little weird for me. This is very YouTubery, and I don't really see myself as a YouTuber. But this will be a very fun thing for me to do, which is answering everybody's questions from the Q&A post. um, Here's how it's going to work, though. I am going to start with comments that are one or two questions, and then we'll build up to the bigger ones as we go along. That way, the video kind of has a sort of kind of quick pace. I don't know. I don't know. This is all very off the top of my head. I just hit record, and now I'm ready to go for the most part. So the very first comment is from Jack Frost Real. And they ask, what inspired you to start recording ASMR? And are there any other ASMR channels you'd recommend? Love the work, by the way. You've got a wonderful voice. Thank you. As far as what inspired me to do ASMR, like in general, I've been listening to it for a long time. It's helped me out so much. And I always thought it would be kind of cool to do an ASMR thing at some point, regardless of if it's the stuff I'm doing now or more just not actual ASMR, but like more like everyday ASMR, like I don't know, kind of like tapping noises, you know. That's probably not picking up very well or nicely into the mic. But that's one reason. I've just always wanted to try it. And another reason is I love the concept of kind of giving back or feeding back into this wonderful idea. So, like the fact that this channel has helped so many people already to kind of relax and fall asleep. That's a big plus in my mind. So there's that. And as far as any other ASMR channels, I'm going to pull up my phone. Well, I'm going to pull up YouTube on my phone. And I'm going to recommend 3 I've been listening to a lot recently. Like I've been really loving these channels. So this first one I kind of discovered a little more recently, but they are great. It is Cuddly Teddy Bear ASMR. In my opinion, they are a very underrated ASMR channel. Because not only do they post ASMR content, but they also post gameplay videos, which are great because I like putting them on in the background as I'm writing. It's kind of like a parasocial thing where it's like I'm hearing somebody else talk or somebody else trying to talk to me as I'm trying to write, or I was going to say record, but I don't listen to anything when I record, and that's too distracting. But yeah, they're great. They've got tons of videos. They are amazing. And the next channel I'll recommend is Ajax Audios, in parentheses, ASMR. They're another great channel. Love their content. And the third channel I will recommend, which many of you will probably know about because they're a bigger one, at least in this sphere that I occupy, that we are both in right now. um, is Shark Barks with 3 S's. And they are a wonderful ASM artist as well. Um, yeah. I mean, I could sit here and talk about them all day, or all the other channels I'm subscribed to, but those are the 3 I've been listening to mainly right now. And if you haven't heard of them, here's your sign to go check them out, because they are great and they post so much wonderful content. So let me put my phone down. There we go. Now we're moving on to second question from, let me find a comment. Oh, we're going to do some quick ones here. Okay. Mochi Pickman says, what's your favorite animal and color? My favorite color is definitely purple, or any shades of purple. I love it. I don't really have a reason why. I just like purple. But then again, I think a lot of people are like that. When it comes to their favorite color, they just like it. They don't really have a reason or choice. They just like the way it looks. And as far as a favorite animal, I kind of like any species of deer. They're very cool and kind of elegant animals in their own right. I like them. I can't think of any other animals, honestly, off the top of my head, that would be like in favorite territory. So there's that. And now we have another comment from Dishbot, or DSHbot. And they ask, what's your profile picture? The profile picture, or the picture I used, was a drawing of a smiley face I did, but with like a bunch of filters and effects on it to kind of give it this vapory, kind of mysterious look to it. It almost looks like a kind of like a blue flame or something like that. At least that's what I think it looks like. But the literal answer is a smiley face with a bunch of weird effects on it. Okay, so next question from, yeah, it's Jin. They ask, coffee or tea? I'm neither of these. I'm neither. I don't like either of these things. I mean, sorry. I'm not a coffee guy or a tea guy, but if I have to choose one, definitely tea. I despise coffee. I've never liked it. It doesn't matter if it's black or if it's got a bunch of creamer in it. I've just never liked the way coffee tastes. I just can't stand it. So tea. Paige says 3 simple words. Are you gay? And I'm not going to lie, when this notification popped up on my phone, I kind of laughed a little bit. But it does make sense to ask, because I haven't clarified anywhere except for the first video, the first kind of a video I posted to the channel. But I could understand not wanting to watch that because it's very heavy. Very heavy. But yes, I am 100% gay. And I am proud. So thank you for the question. Nate Twinkie. Sorry. Nate Twinkie says, what's your favorite thing to do that you think people find weird? I'm still not really sure. When I got this question, I've been thinking about it, and this was 8 days ago. I'm still really not 100% sure. The only thing I can think of is when I get a slice of pizza, or I'm just eating any kind of pizza, whatever. I will kind of like dissect it, I guess is a way to put it. Like I'll take the toppings off, I'll eat those, then I'll also take the cheese off and eat that individually, and then I'll just eat the sauce and the bread. But I don't know if that's really a weird thing. I can't think of anything else. But yeah, that's the one weird thing I can think of. If that is weird, I'm sure other people do that as well. So not to call anybody else out that does that, because hey, I do that too. So there's that. Jeannie with the kind of wild question. Another 3-word one. This one took me out when I got the notification for it. Oh my God. But it's fine. It's funny. It gave me a good laugh. They ask, top or bottom? Then they say, sorry if inappropriate. Which, I mean, it is slightly. But I also never clarified what kind of questions you shouldn't ask. So for this, it's kind of on me. I'm not going to answer that. That's up for you guys to decide. Whatever you think I am. In your mind, whatever you think is whatever fits your like image of me, I guess. There we go. That's a way to put it. Oh, okay. I'm gonna butcher some of your guys' usernames or handles on YouTube. So sorry in advance. But Oran Hiso or Hiso says, hi, hope you're doing great. As of recording this right now, I am doing 100% fine. And they ask, what type of media do you like the most? For example, TV shows or video games. Do you have any recommendations? Have a great day. I'll try to have a great rest of my day. I'm kind of recording this fairly early, but I hope you have a great day as well. Whenever you see this, of course. I'm a big video game guy. I'm a big music guy. I don't really watch TV or movies or anything like that. For me, it's just music and video games. To recommend some video games, I'm a big fan of From Software. So any of the Dark Souls games, they're great. Bloodborne is another fantastic game. I love it so much. And then, of course, obviously, you can't not, or no, sorry, a little bit of brain fog there. But of course, I can't forget Elden Ring, and then its DLC, Shadow of the Erdtree, which are so close to perfection for me. They're like about as perfect as a video game can get. Well, as perfect as they can get in that kind of genre of video game. But they are fantastic. They're not for everybody, obviously. They're fairly difficult, but I've played them all so much now that it's almost second nature to me. Not to brag, but I got killed so many times over and over that at this point I'm basically a legend. Now I still kind of suck at them, to be honest, but I love playing them. So they're kind of addictive in a way. I'm trying to think of other video games that I could honestly recommend. Uh, I think that's it for now. Like I don't want to linger for too long. But yeah, basically, all of the From Software games are golden. I love them. Um, so that's it for that. Then we've got a comment from Rose Hammer who says, "Hi, I was just wondering if you enjoyed making ASMR and what kind of videos are your favorite to make and your hobbies, if that's cool." I pretty newly discovered your channel and just wanted to say I like it a bunch and that you have a great voice. Thank you. I feel like a broken record saying that over and over, but I mean, it's true. Thank you guys. Um, Sorry, I'm getting lost in thought again. But yes, of course, I do enjoy making ASMR. It's nice for me to kind of get away from the world and turn on the mic and just be in my own little space to kind of chill out and relax after a very stressful day. Because recording and also writing, it really does help me to forget about the day if it was kind of terrible, or I'm thinking about the way the world is, which it's kind of hard not to. But yes, I love it. I've enjoyed it so far, and I will continue to enjoy it for for the foreseeable future, I guess. And what kind of videos are my favorite to make? Um, Obviously, right now I've been making role playing videos. um, they're definitely my favorite thing to do by far because I already have experience with writing and producing, well, not producing, writing and recording audios like this outside of YouTube. So, of course, they've been a long favorite of mine. Um, but if you mean like character wise, I very much so like playing the crazy psycho characters. They have a place in my heart, definitely. I've always loved listening to those kinds of audios. So, of course, I'm going to be prone to making them here or there. And I know they're not everybody's cup of tea. Especially the last video I put out, which I thought was very kind of heavy, to put it one way. But you guys seem to like it for the most part, and for that, I say hey. Maybe it wasn't as crazy as I thought it was. But it's definitely about as crazy as I think I can get on YouTube, at least. Like we kind of skirted a line there, if I'm being honest. Well, I skirted the line because I posted the video. But yeah, I like the stalker characters, or just the crazy characters in general. I love them. I love making those kinds of videos. And I can't really think of anything else. My hobbies, though, I play guitar, I play bass, I play a little bit of keyboard. So I'm kind of like into music, but I'm not really. I'm not like adept or anything. I do it like a lot of other people do it for fun. It's just, it's another way for me to unwind after a kind of horrible day. Just play some guitar. I like hiking. Hiking is cool. I like swimming. Swimming is cool. All of my hobbies are just cool. Not really. They're pretty boring for the most part. Uh, and then, is reading a hobby? I guess it is. I kind of laugh saying that, but yeah, I like reading a fair bit. Reading books. Um, so there's that. And now we have a couple questions from Dr. Zayas. And they ask, do you do other stuff outside of these videos like music? Well, hey, yeah, I do music. I make my own little songs here and there, but nothing I'll probably ever share on this channel. That's just for me to kind of look at and be like, yeah, it's okay. um, Also, what made you decide to hand draw your own images for the videos? I love them. It's so authentic and cute. Thank you. Um, just curious when a lot of others will use some sort of anime character. I made it a point when I started this channel, or just audio making in general, to do everything on my own, at least for now. And I've been at it for nearly a year at this point. Obviously not on YouTube, but other places. So I try to do as much as I can on my own, which includes making the thumbnails, writing, obviously, and recording. The only things I can't really do on my own for the most part are some of like the ambient tracks, which I get off of freesound.org in the Creative Commons section, or CCO, for those familiar with that kind of territory. But other than that, I do mostly everything else by myself. It's kind of good. It's kind of like honing a skill in a way, or practicing, I should say. But that's the reason why I draw them. And at first, if you go back and look at like the earliest thumbnails, they're a little rough. Like they're not terrible, but um, but yeah, it definitely took me a minute to kind of come up with something where I could easily draw it, because I'm not an artist, but then also have it be its own kind of little thing. And I think it's worked out pretty well. You know, it didn't take me too terribly long, but I'm happy with that. And it also fits me. The thumbnails do, because like they're not attention grabbing or eye candy. They're nothing like that. But I think it fits me because I'm a very low key kind of guy, and I realize how that sounds when somebody calls themselves low key. But honestly, I really am. Which I'm doubling down on it, which is funny. That's kind of like comedy in and of itself, in a way. But yeah, I also just feel like that sort of anime style doesn't really fit me. But it fits a lot of other people, though, which is great for them. I'm happy for them. But that's the reason why, the foremost reason is I just want to do everything that I can do by myself. Well, by myself. So thank you for the questions. Um, then we have Abby does whatever. And they say, will we ever get a part 2 to the therapist video? Love your vids. Thank you. Also, will you ever do ASMR videos for specific fictional characters or just stick to your own? Just curious. As far as a part 2 to the therapist video, I'm definitely thinking about it because I didn't like how that video turned out in general. I feel like I heavily cooked the script on that one, like to the point where it kind of just doesn't make sense in a way. Like nothing really gels or kind of works. It's a very awkward one. I'm not really sure what was going through my head that day when I was just like, yeah, sure, this script is definitely fine to record. But I'm happy you liked it, and other people have probably liked it as well. I'm happy you guys do, but if I ever do a part 2, I'm hoping to fix the wrongs of that terrible script because I thought it was pretty bad. But I'm happy you guys liked it though. um, and then doing ASMR videos for other characters or for specific fictional characters. For now, I'm definitely gonna just kind of stick to my own little creations. I wouldn't be opposed to it in the future because that's a fun kind of exercise to get into the headspace of a character and kind of write for them and how they are, like their emotions and how they think and act. That's a very fun exercise, but I'd have to find some characters that I feel like I could do, which I don't really think of often or if at all. But if you, Abby, if you or anyone else thinks I can pull somebody off, you're free to suggest them in the comments and I will kind of look into that because I'm not really a voice actor. I'm a voice actor in the most literal sense where I act with my voice, but I'm not really like an impressionist so much. I'm not good at that. Like, a lot of other people in this space are spectacular at doing that, but I'm not. But, if there's a character that kind of already maybe sounds like me that you can think of, or if I come across something like that and it kind of sticks in my head, maybe. So there you go. Thank you for your questions. And now, actually, hold on. Here's a couple more shorter comments to get through. We have a question from the Rainbow Otaku, and they ask, would you ever do long form series, like a series of fantasy audios. Long form series in general, yes, I will definitely do something in that vein. I already have the starts to a couple of them that I could possibly do, or maybe return to, I guess would be the right term. So, yes to long form series in general. As far as fantasy audios, yeah, yeah, as well. But those will take me a little while to kind of write and get into and all that. But eventually I will do stuff like that because those do interest me. So there's that. Then we have a question from, or no, sorry, a couple questions from that ASMR fan. And they say, oh, sorry. Well, they don't say sorry. That was me. They say, what are your favorite types of characters to play? And what types of characters would you play in the future? I've already said this, but I like the kind of stalker crazy guys. They're a definite favorite. I love playing them. And at least to me, they're so easy to write for because you just kind of think of the most unhinged things to say, and then you just put it all into one script, and there you go. um, I kind of like playing kind of normal, sadder guys. I guess the correct term would be like I kind of like playing sad boy characters. If that makes sense to anybody, kind of like the first couple of audios I did, where I was playing this kind of down in the dumps guy who just couldn't really get it together. I like doing them as well. Um, and then what other types of characters would I play? This is definitely for October. I want to do a kind of demon character because I've been thinking about how I would like edit that and make the voice sound, and in my head it sounds great and perfect for ASMR in general. Just I've got to get it right though. If I can't get the editing right, that'll probably never come to fruition. But if I can, that'll be like a late October thing. And I hope I'm not cursing myself by saying that. But I would like to do a demon character. Um, I've already kind of let slip a couple different times now. But I've always wanted to do a vampire, which I will definitely be doing. That's coming up kind of soon. A little bit soonish. Like, no promises. The script's almost done for that, but I can't give a specific day or time, obviously. But as far as like normal archetypes and characters go, uh, I've still yet to do a sort of like nerd character. I'd like to do that at some point, like a geeky kind of nerd guy. But I'd have to really kind of write something I'd be confident in performing. I also have to figure out a way to kind of approach that. But that's for me to kind of worry over. So maybe eventually you will get that kind of audio in the future as well, if I can finally figure it all out. And now we have Javier, and they say, do you consider yourself a nerd? Yes, 100%. I'm a very kind of nerdy guy, which kind of ties into the last question a little bit. um, if so, what are you into? And then they list a bunch of things like history, architecture. Um, I'm a big history guy. I'm a big video game guy, and I'm a big music guy. Those are like the three main things I'm into. um, yeah, so that's it for that. Then they also ask, I'd also like to know how tall you are, if you don't mind. A couple of you guys asked this, and I don't mind. Um, I am a freakish, at least to me, I don't like being this tall. I am a freakish 6'6". Like, I could lose a couple inches and be perfectly fine. I don't like being this tall at all. I just never have. Um, so that answers all of your questions, and thank you for them. And now we've got Tyler. Hello, Tyler. And they say, you're actually so cutie. Thank you. Found your channel not too long ago and have fallen in love with it. Thanks again. I was wondering, do you have any other socials, and what type of music do you enjoy listening to? As far as any other socials for the channel specifically, no, nothing yet. I'll think about maybe like linking a Discord account as a way to kind of reach out. Because as we all know, YouTube doesn't have like a sort of DM PM system, which would kind of be a killer update in my opinion. But whatever. What do I know? But yeah, maybe eventually I'll link like a Discord account, or maybe make a server. That's something I have to think a lot about because that takes some amount of time away from the day as well. And what type of music do you enjoy listening to? I like listening to a genre called post-punk, which, if you know, you know. It's a very kind of hyper-specific thing. Well, it's not too specific, but it's this very kind of low-key and melancholic sounding music that's, the lyrics tend to be a little dour. The instrumentals are, well, they match the mood. I also like post-rock, which is another kind of weird out there genre that's mainly ambient music, like instrumentals and stuff. That's very good background, background music for like writing. It's something that you don't have to worry about lyrics kind of distracting you as you're trying to come up with your next script or whatever you're doing. And I also kind of like IDM music too. Something a little more upbeat. Because I'm not completely like a sad guy all the time, But there's that. And then they ask in another comment, I didn't think of these until right now. Definitely not trying to bug, which you're not. That's the whole point of this post. I want you guys to ask as many questions as you want. So no worries there, Tyler. Um, do you speak any other languages? No, but I would love to learn another language someday. I don't know what language I would learn, which is kind of important because you kind of want to need to want to learn a specific language before you kind of dive into it. You can't just be undecided. So I don't know what language yet, but maybe someday because I think it would just be cool. Um, are there certain types of TV shows slash movies you like to watch, if any? No. Oh, okay, I shouldn't say that. I do like kind of like crime shows. So I'm a big Better Call Saul guy. I like Breaking Bad, obviously. I like The Sopranos. Um, yeah, just crime shows in general. I like them. Same with movies. I'm a big like heist movie guy. I love watching those for some reason. They kind of just itch my brain the right way. They're cool. Do you have any piercings or tattoos? No, I don't know why it took so long to answer that. No, I don't have tattoos or piercings. I may get a tattoo one day, a kind of smaller one, but I need it to like mean something to me. I don't want to get something random. It would need to be for a very specific reason, and it would have to mean a lot to me because it's taking space on my body. As far as piercings, I really like the way they look. Like they look great on certain people, or on a lot of people, I should say. But I don't think I'll ever get any at all. They I don't know. I feel like they just wouldn't look that great on me, to be honest. Oh, and that also answers the second part of your question, which is, would you consider getting any? So yes for tattoos, maybe. Maybe tattoos. There we go. There's a better way to say that. And then probably no for piercings. There you go, Tyler. Um, oh, and then the final kind of shorter comment here we have from, I'm so sorry, I'm going to butcher your name. And I hate to do this to people. Raf. Oh, God, it's already terrible. Rafi, or Rafi. Sorry if I completely butchered that. They say hallo, which is hello in German. See, I know some things. At least I think that is hello in German. Oh God, I swear to God, I'm stupid. But anyways, um, they ask, do you write? Oh, whoa, mix that up. Do you mostly write the scripts for an audio you make, or do you also, or do improv? Sorry, I'm trying to add words to your comment for some reason. Or even mixed. Most of your acting felt so natural. It's really a awesome experience. Thank you, Rafi. Or Rafi. Again, I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm so sorry. Um, Everything I've done so far has been heavily, kind of very much so scripted. I do add in a couple lines on the fly that, like, as I'm recording, that I think will help the script to sound just that ever bit more, I guess, consistent or natural, as you say. But yeah, it's been scripts all the time. since I started this channel. I would like to do more kind of improv audios, but I'm not the best at thinking on my feet. So maybe one day we'll kind of start mixing in improv audios here and there. So the wait in between these videos won't be as long as they are sometimes, because getting like writer's block and burning out feels so terrible, because like I feel bad when that happens, because in a way I feel like I'm letting you guys down. Like there was a kind of period at the beginning of the channel where I kind of went away for almost, was it 2 weeks or like a month or something, and I was like, wow, I feel awful, because I always want to be like making this stuff and putting it out there as much as I can. But if you're writing for it and you're kind of the way I am with it, which is I try to get the scripts to be the most perfect possible versions of themselves. Like they go through tons of drafts. And even on the day of recording, I'll still be looking them over. I'll read them like 5 or 6 times before I actually hit record, and I'll always go through them to make sure that they're good. So that always takes some time. But yeah, it's been scripts so far for every audio. Ever so slightly mixed, but not really. Thank you for those questions. And with that, we are now going to the comments that have multiple different questions. Sorry. We have your fave twinkster. Sorry, it's just your username. Your fave twinkster says, hey, hope you're having a great day or night. Thank you. I'm having a great day so far. I normally am not the type of person to engage often, but since I've been mentally heavily invested here, I thought for the first time I'd participate in a Q&A. Well, I hope I don't disappoint you and discourage you from ever participating in a Q&A ever again, either from me or anybody else. So I hope I do well here. I don't leave you with like a bad experience. Also, apologies if the questions are on a more personal level, but you can answer them however you like, of course, or leave them out. So your first question is, what is your sexual orientation? What type of people are you attracted to? I am gay, as I've said before, and I'm attracted to, well, men. Anybody that's a man, I love them. I just can't help it. What can I say? So your second question, you ask, what made you decide to create ASMR and roleplay audios with focus on M4M content specifically? To create ASMR, kind of went over it already, I think. But I enjoyed listening to it, and I thought it would be cool to maybe one day kind of give back to a thing that's helped me so much. So there's that. And as far as the channel being roleplay audios, M4M stuff, obviously, M4M is what interests me completely. Sorry, ladies. I know there's probably a couple of you watching. I have no real interest in making M4F content. Sorry. like I'll maybe compromise and do M4A sometimes. So hopefully that's not too disappointing to hear. But as far as making roleplay audios for like YouTube and stuff, it's something that I'd already been doing for a while now. So it was kind of natural for me to transition from where I was to here doing that stuff. And it's kind of made it easier in a way too. And I'm happy with how it's turned out because I've always kind of wanted to do more lighthearted, kind of fluff filled stories as opposed to the ones I had been doing for a while, which I won't go into detail, but you probably already know if you know. That's like a really heavy if you know, you know. But yeah, that's why I do that. And your third question, would you ever consider creating a Discord server for your community? Ooh. I think I mentioned that. I'm having a tough time with thinking what I've already said. I kind of lost a bit. But I think I went over this. Um, Maybe eventually I'll link a Discord server for you guys. But I'll have to think about it. Because that also takes some time out of the day too. Because I can't just like leave that as like a lawless kind of like land for I gotta be there. Sorry. I gotta be there to kind of moderate it, you know. That's a big heavy thing on there. You can't just let things go awry. So maybe one day, but I don't know. I don't know for sure. Maybe. Uh, if you answer any or all of my questions, thanks in advance for feeding my curiosity. Well, you're welcome. I hope you are sufficiently satiated. uh, and then you say a bunch of very, very kind words for which I thank you. um, so, sorry. So, moving on here, we have Light of a Dying Star with 4 questions. And they say, Hi, Ergo. I just like stumbled over my own name. Great. So, hi, Ergo. I only have 4 questions. What do you find attractive in someone? I kind of like guys with longer hair, also with beards, or a little bit of stubble. It's always been something for me. Very superficial. I kind of, to be less superficial here, I like guys that are emotionally kind of, they're not afraid to show their emotions, you know. Like if you need to cry, please cry. Don't bottle up your emotions. That's something that I always look at as well. Because we all need to cry. Like you got to be honest with yourself. We all need that sometimes. I don't know what else I can say without it kind of veering off into a certain territory. So I'll just kind of leave it at that. Oh, I will also say this. Glasses. I really like glasses. I wear them. I love other people that wear them as well. um, but then again, that's superficial stuff, so it doesn't matter. How tall are you? I am 6'6". What kind of hobbies do I have? Like I said before, music, hiking, swimming, reading, kind of plain stuff, but I never claimed to be an exciting guy. So there's those. And then, what's your profile picture? It is a smiley face I drew with a bunch of effects on it. Very cool, I know. It's not some like mysterious origin story, but there it is. So thank you for your questions. And now we have 3 questions or more questions from. I'm also going to butcher your name, and I'm so sorry. But QnA, or I guess I could say your username. Sorry. Cloudy. They ask, they say, so excited for this Q&A. Luckily, in no time, you will be able to celebrate the 2K. Hey, it rhymes. So congratulations in advance. Thank you. And we have hit that, which is still crazy to me. I'm still thinking about that. My questions for you would be, what 3 things do you like about yourself? Well, you just have to ask the toughest question of the entire video. I mean, I like my hair, I guess. I've been growing it out more, which is always what I've wanted to do. I've always wanted to have longer hair, and it's finally growing to a length that I absolutely love. So there's that. I like my glasses. Does that count? Or is that cheating? I don't know. I really like my glasses. I think they really suit my face well. And because you mentioned it, yes, I do like my voice now. It was kind of a long fought battle. But yeah, I really do like my voice now. It only took countless hours of me recording and listening back to myself and editing, but we finally got there. So there's that. What 3 things do you find attractive in a guy? In your audios, for example, what do you imagine the listener to be? If we're going to go down the route of that, it really depends on the audio. Like, for example, in the bully audios, I kind of imagine you guys as kind of shorter, kind of messy hair, wearing a nice thick pair of glasses. Almost very stereotypical nerdy stuff. But if it's like an audio like the one walk home audio or whatever, then I kind of just, I imagine we're both around the same height, and that you're not like a mirror image of me, but you're kind of just like, it's kind of weird to think about, actually. I really don't have a mental image for the most part as I'm recording. Maybe I should try to do that a little more often. But what three things do I find attractive in a guy? I've kind of already went over this, but I like longer hair. I like beards. Glasses too. uh, I mean, that's all I'll mention. All I'm comfortable mentioning to you guys. So there's that. Then, uh, what three activities slash things comfort you the most and make you happy? Writing and recording ASMR or recording audios in general is one. I like playing guitar. Like I've said before, I like playing guitar. That also helps me to feel a little bit better. And then honestly, a third thing, I like I like taking a walk, kind of finding a nice place to sit, and I kind of just like looking up at the clouds or the sky and just thinking about life. It's nice to just take a breather every once in a while and just get lost in thought. So there's that. Thank you for the questions. Uh, then we have a couple different questions from Lyrium Lyric. And they say, tossing some questions into the pot. What have you enjoyed most about recording audios? Is there anything you find difficult that listeners might not be aware of? As far as like enjoying, I just like the whole um I like the entirety of like the process. I like the writing. I obviously like the recording. It's also fun to get into character. But this will also bleed into the second part of this, where sometimes I feel like I can't properly convey through voice alone the kind of right emotion that should be heard. That's been like a big hurdle of mine because I see myself as a very kind of monotone, monotonous guy. But yeah, that's one big difficulty I always come across. Like, especially in scripts where I kind of write a big, or I kind of like write a scene where the character is supposed to be going through a sort of breakdown and crying. I fear that the most because, like, it's very hard to capture that into a mic, I feel. But I think so far I've done okay for that. Um, what's your creative process like for coming up with ideas and developing scripts? How long does it normally take you from conception of an idea to execution, recording, and editing? Do you end up leaving a lot of stuff on the cutting room floor? Uh, I've been doing this for a little while now, so I'm always thinking up of kind of simpler ideas all the time. Like everything I've done so far isn't groundbreaking. Like they're mostly ideas that have been done before. Well, they're all ideas that have been done before. But I tend to keep it simple. And I haven't done anything completely complex yet. I'd kind of like to do some kind of weird story eventually where there's a lot of lore and things to dig into, but that takes a lot of time, like a lot of time. Um, and as far as like the writing process as a whole, as you say, developing the script. Um, I kind of just write almost like it's almost like a storyboard of how I want it to go. And then I'll fill in the blanks in between. And then that'll be the first draft. And then I go over it a lot of times. I haven't counted, but I go over it a lot. Um, and then eventually we get an audio out of that that I hope you guys will enjoy. Um, how long does it normally take you from conception of an idea to execution? Uh, if it's a completely fresh idea, first draft kind of maybe takes 4 or 5 days, I'd say. Because I don't really devote most of my time to writing, like maybe an hour or two every night when I feel like it. Like if I'm too tired, then obviously I won't even touch my computer because trying to write for this stuff while tired is just it's a foolish endeavor. Or just trying to write while tired in general, it just doesn't really work out. You kind of just sit there at your keyboard, kind of just staring blankly into the screen. But usually 4 to 5 days for one kind of first draft of a script. But overall, I probably about a full week. But I also have to be in the recording headspace as well. Because I'm not going to record if I don't feel like it, because that always turns out wrong. Trust me, I've tried to force it in the past. And you can tell when somebody doesn't really want to be recording stuff like this, because it just bleeds through in like the tone and the way things are being said and stuff like that. So it's a very open-ended time frame is what I'll say. But usually about a week if I'm really kind of feeling it. Um, and do you end up leaving a lot of stuff on the cutting room floor? From first draft to finalized script, there's usually always like one little like scene or segment that gets thrown out, but that's it. And you'd be surprised on like the day of recording when I go over the script. Like I said before, when I go over the script, like I'm reading it over and over to make sure everything is exactly how I want it. I usually end up adding in a couple different lines here and there too. Sometimes an entirely new scene, which will help contextualize what I'm trying to convey. So there's that. Um, in addition to recording audios, is there an interest or hobby that's captured your attention lately? As of late, I've been trying to practice playing guitar while also singing along with it, which is a lot of hand-eye coordination that I don't have. You've got to have a lot of you got to have a lot of inherent rhythm, which I don't have. But it's been fun to do. I've been doing very simple songs like here's a classic one for like Nirvana fans. I feel like this is one that gets brought up a lot when you try to practice singing and playing at the same time. It's a song called About a Girl. I've been trying to use that one to practice, and it's very simple because the verses are two chords The course is 3? No, 4 chords. But yeah, that's been fun. And what's my favorite food? Uh, as far as a favorite dish, I'm a big fan of fettuccine alfredo. I love that stuff. I would eat it every day uh, if I knew it wouldn't give me a heart attack. But hey, it's some great stuff. Very classic dish that I'm sure a lot of you guys probably like as well. So there's your questions answered. Thank you for them as well. Uh, we are on. Sorry, like I said, I'm a little stuffy. Um, we are on the final comment from a cup of wasabi. I guess kind of like wasabi or wasabi. Sorry, like I said, I'm gonna butcher names and I apologize. And they say, "Hello. My apologies if there are too many questions, but I tried to write mostly about your work, and I am sorry if there are mistakes." Hey, that's no problem. Um, so your first question is, why do you write the scripts for videos yourself? This goes back to another point. I've made myself a promise to do as much as I can, like regarding audio making and stuff, by myself. So there's that. What inspires me to write a new script? Uh, Tons of different things. You know, maybe I'm listening to an audio, and that'll kind of get me like in the mood to also write. Like I'll take an idea like that, and I'll try to like put my own spin onto it, because it's very much so like an ecosystem here, where every idea has basically already been written, except for like original stories. But you can take these concepts and like these archetypes and these characters, you can always put your own thing to them, which is what I've been trying to do. And I think I've done pretty all right with, for the most part. There's a couple duds, but I don't like to dwell on them. So there's that. Um, your third question is, will you voice over already written scripts made by other people and make videos with them in the future? This is a maybe. Eventually, or no, maybe I would one day, but I am so deathly afraid of disappointing the script writers. Like the people that make these like such well-crafted scripts. Like they're much better than me. Like I don't claim to be a writer. I do try my best, but I'm definitely no writer or anything like that. But I'm horribly afraid of like taking one of their scripts off of say Reddit or any other place where they may be hosted, taking that script and recording it and then somehow disappointing them with like how they envisioned it versus how I delivered it. That's a big, heavy expectation, which I am afraid will happen to me, which may be an unreasonable thing for me to say. But until I reach that point, where I can like confidently say I can. Uh, Probably not for a while. Your fourth question, just to move on from that, would you like to find an artist who will draw previews for your videos, or do you like to draw them yourself? Uh, by the way, you've done a great job with M letters, turning them into long eared animals. They remind me of rabbits. It's interesting and very cute. Thank you. Uh, this is another maybe. It's like up in the air, really. If I was to find an artist, I wouldn't even know what to tell them because I'd want them to kind of stick with the style I've already made. But the style I've made, I can already do myself because it's so simplistic. Like it's nothing mind blowing. But I do like the way they've turned out so far and what they've become, like you said. I've kind of molded it into my own little niche thing, and I'm happy with it. I used to dread drawing the thumbnails for the videos, but I have definitely come around to it more recently, and uh, it's kind of nice to just put on some music and slowly draw away at it. It doesn't usually take me very long, maybe like 20 or 30 minutes, because, like I said before, I'm not drawing these hyperly detailed images. They're just little doodles, really. But maybe one day I'll look into an artist if I really feel like I just can't possibly draw something that kind of fits the video for its thumbnail. So maybe. But so far, I've been doing okay with it. Your fifth question is, how long have you been writing poetry? Uh, like off and on for a couple years now. I'm definitely not a poet. I'll never claim to be a poet. I'm no Robert Frost. But yeah, a couple years now. Six. Why do you write poetry? Um, because I like the concept of poetry. I want to get better at like imagery and being very vivid in descriptions and stuff. Because that also ties into just being a writer in general, like being able to formulate words the way you want them to be and have them be art in their own right. It would be great, and that's why I kind of chip away at poetry as well as writing scripts and the like. I think that's about it there. Yeah, I can't think of anything else for the most part. Seven, your seventh question. Do you plan to publish your poems somewhere? Did I say that right? That sounded weird. Do you plan to publish your poems somewhere? There we go. Perhaps making a video, reading your works. Uh, Maybe one day when I feel confident enough that they are worthy of people's time and attention. But as of now, no. Like you've heard maybe one or two of them, but they weren't ones I've written beforehand. They were ones I made up on the spot for the scripts for this character that's supposed to be kind of cheesy and overly artsy and always trying to be poetic. So they were very kind of tongue-in-cheek things. But maybe one day. A lot of maybes for these questions. I'm a very indecisive guy. Uh, 8. Do you like any poets or writers? Already mentioned one. I really like Robert Frost. As far as poets go, I like Robert Frost. I like Edgar Allan Poe. Writers. I consider lyricists poets as well as writers, because they're writing the lyrics and stuff. I will mention a couple heavy inspirations for me for like writing in general. I really like Roland S. Howard. He was this great musician. He wrote these songs about a wanting, a yearning for love, um, and just life being kind of not so cool in general. He was good. He was a good musician. He played great guitar. I also like, in the same realm, I also like Ian Curtis, who was the singer for Joy Division. Sorry. He unfortunately has long since passed away, and his story is very tragic, and his songs very much so convey his mental state as they went along. It's very, very sad music. I would say I recommend Joy Division, but I really don't. I'd probably say stay away if you're kind of feeling down yourself. Potentially weird cut there. I got a little distracted with something. But your 9th question. Sorry. You ask. I don't drink alcohol either. So I'm curious. Why don't you drink alcohol? I'm sorry if this is a personal question. I'll give you the one reason I'm comfortable sharing as to why I don't. It just doesn't appeal to me in any way, and it never has. You know, I don't really see any reason to ever, if I'm being honest. Well, okay, I mean, I can see reasons why people drink, especially nowadays. But I just haven't had like the urge or just anything really to just want to go out there and be like, yeah, sure, buy some beer, or anything like that. I just kind of abstained from it, as well as a couple other reasons, which I won't say. And your 10th and final question, the last one. What does the name of your channel mean? So it was one of those things I made up very much so on the spot. But in the most literal sense. So it's ergo he flows ASMR. Ergo is therefore in Latin, and flow means to like talk. Or I guess in this instance would be to like, it's just me like yapping and talking into a mic. So the most literal meaning of the channel is therefore he flows, which is very fitting for an ASMR channel. And with that, that is all the questions answered. Oh, well, okay, I missed your comment, Xavier, Eli. Um, I mean, is this really even a question? They just, they say, linger. Do you have to let it linger? Which is a reference to the Cranberries, which is a favorite band of mine. I'd say I do like them a fair bit. Um, my favorite song of theirs is Dreams. But, since you commented on the post, I thought I would include your comment. Not to like single you out, but thanks for the laugh. And what that's referring to is when I made this post, I said I will let this linger a bit, and that's what prompted them to reference the Cranberries. So that's it. If you made it this far, goodbye, and I hope you have a nice rest of your day, and I hope that this video helped to relax you a bit if you were feeling a little stressed out. But obviously, if you're already asleep, have some sweet dreams. See ya.